have to pay that fine, that you care enough to be here and learn some fire safety stuff, all right? All right, so for the next hour, you guys are going to listen to me for a little bit here. I will try to keep it as interesting as possible, all right? If there are some questions, we will have a point at the end of the session where you can ask some questions. Anybody that's across the hallway over there, if we can designate somebody to be a quote-unquote runner to come over and ask questions, that way we can get your questions answered too. In the meantime, and I'm sure everybody in here has a cell phone, please make sure it's on vibrate, because if you interrupt my class, I will be extremely upset and you will get tossed out. All right? So, of everybody in here, how many of you are new to DCC? How many first-time students here? Nice. All right. Welcome, guys. Other than before my current profession, I'm also Dutchess Community College alumni. So thank you very much for choosing to attend here. So, without further ado, welcome to the 2017 Dutchess Community College Residential Fire Safety Presentation. Okay. Yes. And we do have some, yes. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. We have some folks across in the Ritz Lounge. If you are, it's cool in the front of the theater. It's a little warm in the back. If you feel like you're getting a little warm in the back, you can go ahead into the Ritz Lounge. There's plenty of seating in there. There's also still snacks outside. For those returning students, I had the great pleasure of spending time with the new students since Friday. But for the returning students, my name is Deb Waller-Frederick, and I'm the new Director of Student Life. My job here is to oversee Conklin Hall and also student activities. So if you're returning, you probably knew Adriana. Adriana has moved over full-time to student conduct. She's still here, thank God. And I'm still with Amy and Jamoy. The RA staff is 9 of the 10 are new. And we also have a new residence hall coordinator, DeAndre. You'll meet him at some point as well. So some of the staff in Conklin is returners like you, some are new. And so what I want to share with you is 2 other things are going to happen today. Shh. For the returners, you will hear us say, we don't talk over each other. Our new folks have already figured that out after the last couple of days. We will have a barbecue right after this. Yeah. I hope it lives up to that. Here's hoping it lives up to that. All right. So we also have, shh. Y'all know, pipe down. All right. So for those of you who are returning that we haven't had the opportunity to meet, we want to tell you that after the barbecue, we will also have a hall meeting that is mandatory and a floor meeting. We're going to make them a little bit faster. It's not quite 2 hours. We're not going to bore you, but there are some changes, some policies, staff members. But for the returners, the most important thing is where you lived last year, the facility is the same, but the program isn't the same. And so you got to hear that message early and often. And the most important part of that is the fire safety issues. So if you were part of our problem last year, I will tell you what we've told our new folks. If you laugh, you might have been part of that problem. If you are part of the problem with our fire safety in that building, you will just be dismissed from housing. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. We're not going to play games. As the new students learned, it's not about you. It's about the other 453 students in that building. So here's the rule. If you don't like it, move off campus. There's plenty of housing with 4 colleges within 10 miles. So I respect if you want to go, go. If you want to live there, don't smoke your cigarettes, don't smoke your dope, don't cover your smoke detectors. If you want to continue doing that, I do encourage you to talk to me and Amy in the next 48 hours, and we will get you out of your housing contract without any penalty. We'd be happy to have you move out if you don't think you can play in this sandbox. I don't have a problem with it. You should go. That big old building right near MARIST Fox Run, it's a facility not run by MARIST. It's a beautiful apartment complex. Feel free to move there if you don't think that you can manage it. All right, so the speaker today is here because he has an expertise about something that we all have to take very seriously, living in a residence hall. Give him the respect that he deserves, and he and his staff, when the time comes, if God forbid we need their help, they'll be here for us. We're going to talk more after the barbecue. If you have any questions, you're going to hear about the new food service, about the new bookstore. Things have really changed over the summer. For the returning students, you're really going to be very happy with the changes. It's a financial benefit to you. The food is better, and we're going to tell you all about that.
All right, thank you very much. So as I said before, welcome to the 2017 Dutchess Community College Residential Fire Safety Session. So why are we here? Well, basically what we're going to do today, we are going to discuss the fire safety problem as it relates to colleges and universities throughout the United States. We're going to provide you information on how to prevent fires, preventing unwanted fire alarm activations, which was actually a bit of an issue here last year for those of you that are returning students. We're going to tell you what to do if you actually discover smoke or fire. Right, and also what to do during fire alarm activations. And hopefully answer some fire prevention or safety-related questions that you guys may have. So the critical nature of student campus fire safety training, it is a matter of life and death. Right? It sounds like an exaggeration, but the next couple slides I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to show you exactly how much of an issue this has become here in the United States. So while fatal fires in student housing are not an everyday occurrence, they can and do happen probably more frequently than you realize. All right. In the last 2 years, since January of 2015, I inspect 4 different colleges just here in the Dutchess County area, all right, between town of Poughkeepsie and Hyde Park. In my 4 schools, I've had 21 fires in the last 2 years, 21 reportable incidents. All right, now nobody was injured or killed in any of those fires. However, that shows that we have a ways to go with preventing fires, all right? So here in New York State, statewide, campuses report an average of 300 fires every single year. Of those 300, fire departments are reporting that 160 of those are happening in residence halls. So over half of those fires that are occurring on campuses throughout the state happen in residence halls. Now, fire is one of the most deadly perils of student life. Of all the things out there that can kill you, this is definitely one you need that is preventable, one you want to watch out for. So while most campus fire fatalities occur by 1s and 2s, these fires don't make headlines unless it's a bunch of students that are killed. Usually if we have more than 3 or 4, that's when it makes headlines. Or if it's on a local, like in a regional area, even regular house fires. Most of us don't hear who's dying every single day in fires. There's an average of 3,000 people just here in the United States that die in fire every single year. Do you guys hear about that every single day on the news? About every 2.5 hours each day, about every 2.5 hours, somewhere in the United States, somebody's dying in a fire. And usually we don't hear about it. The news doesn't report it. They're too busy talking about what Trump tweeted last night or some nonsense like that. Okay? So it's a lot, basically what that does for us is it doesn't paint a picture for us. It doesn't give us the real information. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about. So since January 2000, and that is a very important time frame, I'm going to tell you why here in a minute, we've had 128 students that have died in campus-related fires. That's either on campus, just off campus, in like Greek houses, like frats or sororities, or in their own homes that that they rented, such as MARIST has a lot of off-campus housing. And I'm sure Dutchess does too. So of those 128, that all happened in 91 fires throughout 17 years. 91 fires, that's a lot. Okay. Of those 91 and those 91 fires, only 7 of them actually happened in residence halls. So, sure, some of you, well, why is he even talking about that? He's got 128 students up here, but he's talking about 7 fires. That's it, out of 91. Why is that important to me? It's important to you because you will now live in a residence hall, and the things that you will have, such as a monitored fire alarm system, such as a sprinkler system, such as fire doors, such as other people watching your back, whether it be your roommates or friends, to help you get out if there's a fire. A lot of these people didn't have that. So if we compromise those things, like we ran into that a lot last year, a lot of people covering smoke detectors, messing with the sprinklers, that's a big issue because that stuff is going to buy you time to get out. That's going to help not only prevent fires, but also help you correctly respond to a fire should one occur. So, Seton Hall University, January 2000, January 19th, 2000 to be exact. This picture here, that's actually one of the doors to the stairwell in the third floor of Bolland Hall. It was a freshman dorm. All right. There was a fire that happened on the third floor. Basically what happened, there was an altercation between a few students throughout the night. Two of those students decided that it'd be a good idea to go out into the lounge. They pulled some posters down off the wall, draped it across the couch, set fire to it. Now, before they did that, the 4 weeks immediately preceding that, there were 19 fire alarm activations in that building. 19 in 4 weeks. All right, people messing around, pulling a fire alarm, like we had here last year, setting it off by, culinary disasters that, setting the popcorn on for 20 minutes instead of 2 minutes, stuff like that. All right. You guys laugh, but that stuff's serious, and listen up, please. That is stuff that can and will affect you. All right, one way or another, it can affect you. So what happened is these people, when the fire alarm went off and it was actually the real deal, they didn't take it seriously anymore because it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was January in Jersey. Like, it's cold outside. I ain't going outside. So until they started hearing people run up and down the halls, banging on the doors, fire, 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 we got to get out, fire, fire, fire. And then there were the people that did get out. Some of them even took even longer. Let me make sure I get dressed and put my jacket on. And so by the time they open up the door, it's floor-to-ceiling smoke and heat. Okay? So we have 3 dead and 58 injured. Of the injured, we have Alvaro Llanos. This is shortly after he arrived in the ER. Okay? Him and his roommate, they took their time when the fire alarm went off. They took their time getting up and getting out. They specifically said, we took our time because we didn't think it was real, and it's cold, so we're going to go and grab our jackets. We open the door, and it's floor-to-ceiling smoke. So we can't see, so we have to crawl down the hallway. And his roommate, Sean, who I'm about to show you in a second, he said every time his hand touched the floor, it felt like he was melting because it was so hot. All right? When a room is on fire, it can get up to 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit. All right? So that will literally melt your skin off. Alvaro, he just sustained third-degree burns to 60% of his body. He was in a coma for 3 months. Okay. This is his roommate, Sean Simons. Sean had second and third-degree burns to 16% of his body, mainly his face and his hands. Okay. This is Dana Christmas. The reason that this picture looks like this is because it's shortly after she got out of the hospital. She was the RA on the floor that night. And what she did that night is she ran up and down the hallway banging on people's doors. And every time she ran down the hallway, she sustained more burns. She operated an effort to try to save as many of her peers as she could to get people out. And a lot of the people that survived that night said they probably wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for her. All right, so she actually had second and third degree burns to 60% of her body, mainly her face, her back, her arms. Okay. This is the recovery process. This is shortly after Sean arrived in the ER. His mother said that when she went there to go be with him, that she just wanted to comfort her son, and she was just petting his head, and every time she pet him, the skin would just fall to the ground because of how badly he was burned. Right. So they had a very long recovery process. This is Alvaro after he got out of a coma. Okay. He had to have physical therapy every single day because when you get burned, when your skin heals, you have to stretch it out again. So every day for a year, he had to go through physical therapy, somebody just to stretch his skin out. Right? And I can tell you, I had second-degree burns on my elbows when I was a freshman in high school, and just that, the pain that I had, that was horrible. I couldn't imagine what this guy had to go through. Over half his body with burns. All right? So their lives changed forever. Alvaro had to learn to walk again. That's him learning to walk. This is them last year. Sean and Alvaro on the left-hand side. You can see they are, and on the right-hand side, that's Dana Christmas. That's the RA I was talking about. This is a picture of them last year. They are alive and well. They all graduated college. They actually go around to various colleges around the country talking about the seriousness of fire and fire safety and how serious people should take it. Not just college students, but everybody. All right? So, but they do have to live for the rest of their lives with not only physical scars, but emotional and mental scars. So, unfortunately, we have had 91 fatal fires in colleges throughout the country in the last 17 years. This is a list of some of the multiple fatality college fires. Starting January 19th, 2000. As you can see, it's in various areas around the country. It's not just small schools. It's also large schools. It's all over the place. Okay? And last but not least, January 21st, 2012, Marist College. Actually, that says 3 dead. Marist College lost 2, Dutchess Community College lost 1 in that fire. It was an off-campus fire, and the Dutchess Community College student was there visiting with the 2 Marist students. There was a fire that happened, and I'm going to play you the 911 tapes from that. This is what the house looked like when the first police officer pulled up.
Dutchess 911, what is the address of the emergency?
Hey, there's a house on fire, and it is right across from Fairview Park.
Okay, what's the street number? What road's it on? Sir?
Hello, sir?
Yeah, what's the name of the street that you're on?
It's Fairview.
Okay, Fairview what?
I have no idea. I just know I'm on Fairview and Lake Street, so in between Fairview and Lake Street. Yeah.
Okay, is it the intersection of Fairview Avenue and Lake Street?
Yeah. You can see it from the road. It's clear, like you will not miss it.
Okay, can you get close enough to get an address on it?
I have no idea what the address is, to be honest with you.
All right, what's your name, sir?
So every second that he takes to get an address, that's how much longer it's going to delay for the fire department to be dispatched. Because the dispatcher has no idea where to send the fire engine to.
242
Okay?
7677.
So be aware of your surroundings.
Okay, and you can't get me a street number?
I have no idea what the street number is. I'm trying to look for it on the house. It's 112.
112 Fairview Avenue?
Yeah, I'm assuming this is Fairview.
Okay. Can you tell if anybody's home?
I don't know.
That ding was the dispatcher sending it over to be dispatched.
I don't know.
He just sent it over to his partner to call out the fire department.
Yes, there are.
Okay, we're sending out the fire department. Just make sure, keep everybody safe, okay? I don't want anybody getting hurt there, okay?
All right.
And
Thank you very much.
And where do you see the fire coming from as far as the house?
It's the back left of the house, and the whole house is almost engulfed now.
Okay, sir. We've got the fire department coming out there, okay?
All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Now, Fairview Fire Department is actually the same fire department that covers Dutchess Community College. They're actually right around the corner, right off of 9G. Okay, Fairview Avenue is literally about 1.5 miles from their station. They are what's called a combination fire department, meaning that they have anywhere between 4 and 6 firefighters on duty 24 hours a day, and then they'll get the first engine out, and then they're backed up by volunteers. Okay, so they have an average response time of about 4 minutes from receipt of the call. Like I said, this is when the first police officer showed up, which was very shortly after that gentleman called the fire in. This is when the first engine pulled up, about 4 minutes after. This is the fire department actually being dispatched. So we went from the back left of the house all the way across the first floor of that house within a matter of about 4 minutes.
That's 12 Fairview, City of Poughkeepsie, 5712 under mutual aid, respond for a house fire. It's going to be 112 Fairview Avenue, across street to Lake Street and West Cedar Street. Be advised, we're receiving numerous calls repeating to Fairview and City of Poughkeepsie with 5712 under mutual aid, respond for a house fire. 112 Fairview Avenue, cross street to Lake Street and West Cedar Street. Be advised, we are receiving numerous calls, 0136 4241.
This is when the chief showed up.
41 on the scene, going to be assuming command. 2.5-story wood frame, heavy fire in the rear of the structure. 41 you're on the scene, assuming command, heavy fire, rear of the structure, at 0144.
So we have a fire that started in the back left-hand corner. Within a couple of minutes, it's crossed the whole first floor of the house. And you can see it's now extended up into the second floor of the house, all within a matter of minutes. All right, so a few things I want you to take from that. Number one, how difficult was it for that gentleman calling the fire in to get the correct information, to actually get the fire department out there? So no matter where you are, try to be aware of your surroundings so you can try to relay that information and not delay dispatch of emergency services. On top of that, some things that they didn't have in this residence that you guys do, sprinklers. Okay? Sprinklers would have significantly slowed that fire down and allowed probably just about everybody in that house to get out alive. So don't take them for granted. Let's not block them. Let's not damage them. Okay? Yes, sir. I don't have an exact number. It was about a half dozen altogether, half dozen people that were in the house. When the fire department pulled up, they said people were literally jumping out of second floor windows. Okay, and like I said, we lost 2 MARIST students and 1 Dutchess student all in that fire. They never determined the cause of the fire because there was so much damage to the building that the fire investigators couldn't actually get through to where the origin of the fire happened. In the weeks following, my office teamed up with Fairview Fire Department, and we went door to door. One of the things that was discussed that may have contributed to people not getting out was lack of working smoke detectors. Okay, so we actually went door to door. We handed out smoke detectors and installed them, made sure people have them. And we talked to them about the fire just to get some fire safety information out to people. Okay, so it's not just about fatalities and injuries. And the impact when a fire occurs, it's not just the victim and their family that's affected, but also the college and the entire community. I can tell you, I've been inspecting MARIST for the last 4 years now, and every year when I go on campus, somebody there is still working there that knew those people, and they still talk about that fire. It was very, very far-reaching. Now, we also have to worry about property damage, right? Loss of coursework, books, equipment, personal belongings. This stuff, yeah, while it can be replaced, but what if you're working on a final and now you lose it? You know, even if it's not just to fire, what about water damage from a sprinkler? Okay, so maybe the sprinkler saves it, but some things, water could ruin it, especially if you have a flooding condition. All right. That was the case, Pratt Institute, Brooklyn, New York, February 15th, 2013. This is an art institute down in Brooklyn. All right, they had a fire in their main building. It was an electrical fire, started on the overnight. That's actually the fire on the right-hand side. That's actually the building when it was on fire. There were multiple students that were close to their final. Some of them had interviews with other universities that they were supposed to show some of their work to. It was all gone. So stuff they had worked on all year was all gone from something preventable. So when a fire does occur, survival is your first priority. All right? We want you to get up and get out. And by the way, I didn't say this in the beginning. If the fire alarm goes off, it's not part of the class. All right? If it goes off, we do have to get up and get out. So, but survival is your first priority. We want to get you outside because things will be a lot better when we don't have people occupying the building anymore. So we want you to know 2 ways out. All right? So people are creatures of habit. We get into a routine. We like to do certain things every day where we get comfortable. Right, so when normal is interrupted, a lot of people panic, or more important, they actually just shut down. They don't know what to do. Where do I go? What do I do? I'm looking for some direction. Right. So we're recommending that you know how many doors are between the door to your suite to 2 different exits. Okay, to the next fire door, to go out into the middle of the hallway, or down to the stairwell. All right, know how many doors, because if it's floor-to-ceiling smoke and you can't see, all you have to rely on is your sense of touch. So if you don't know how many is between you and the exit, good luck trying to get out. And practice. We're not saying crawl through the floor, all right? I'm sure that could cause a couple issues if we're doing that. But what we are saying is, if you have somebody walking down the hallway with you, one of your friends, hey, let's check this out. Let's test this theory. I want to close my eyes and I want to count for how many doors there are. And just something as simple as closing your eyes will drastically change how long it feels that it's going to take you to get to that exit. Okay? Same thing with me walking across the stage here. It's going to feel like an eternity for me to hit that other side if I don't, bust my rear in the meantime. All right, so definitely recommend that you just try that. Or even from your bedroom to the door to go out into the hallway. Just close your eyes and try it. And don't delay. Get up and get out. All right. Now, while some possessions may be extremely important, the majority of them can be replaced. We can't replace you. There's only one you. We can't replace you. So, and the life hazard here on campus, it can be great at any time of day. We have so many people coming and going here, but we look at varied class attendance. How many people are going to be taking some evening classes, late afternoon or evening classes? Okay. So, people in and out of dorms all times of day and night. Okay. Sleeping in dorms or residence halls at all hours. There have been times I've walked into some bedrooms and it's 11 o'clock, noontime, people are still sleeping in their dorm room. Up at all hours studying or socializing. And accountability can be difficult. We understand that. But we also have training is often weak or non-existent. What I mean by that is here in the United States, outside of elementary school, a lot of people don't really get a whole lot of fire safety or fire prevention training unless it's something like this or for a job. So how many people had some fire safety training in middle school? A handful of you? Okay. What about high school? Some of the same, couple more went up? I like to see that. I'm very happy to see that. But for the most part, that was maybe a quarter of you. So we have another 75% just in this room. I can't even see how many in the next room that did not receive any fire safety training after elementary school. So if I was to ask you what you remember from that, most likely you're going to respond with stop, drop, and roll. No? No? What else you got for me? Okay, exit drills. You guys talked about exit drills. And that makes me even happier to hear that because... Smoke tent? Okay. So we did some evacuation stuff. That's very important. Either way, it's been a long time for a lot of people since we've done something like that. So that's something to take into account here. How many people, I know I've seen how many people are freshmen here or first time to Dutchess. How many people it's first time living outside of home, outside of your parents' residence? Okay. So now you're a lot more responsibility on you guys. A lot of stuff you're fending for yourself now. Most importantly, we don't have, our own family there living with us to kind of watch our back when it comes to emergencies. So now we have to rely on, other people living in the suite, other people living in the building, the staff here, or some of the fire protection features we have in the building. And a lot of people don't understand how quickly a fire can develop and how quickly a fire can block your escape route. I already showed you the pictures from the fire over on Fairview Avenue. That's one example. But a fire under the right conditions, a fire can double in size every 30 seconds. So if I have a small garbage can, all right, so can you hold that garbage can up for me? Everybody see that garbage can? No? So I got some people that can't see here. Let me see. Thank you, sir. All right, so let's do a hypothetical here. So I got this garbage can here. You're going to find this in just about any dorm room, all right? So let's say last year we had a problem with people smoking in the dorm room. Got people that smoke, and they decide to put their cigarette butts or their ashes in that garbage can. So a fire starts in a garbage can. Inside of 30 seconds, it's going to be the size of 2 of those. Inside of a minute, it's going to be the size of 4. Minute and a half, it's going to be the size of 16 because we're doubling. Inside of 2 minutes, it's going to be the size of 64 of those. 64 of those is going to take up the majority of this section of the stage, actually maybe even the whole stage. And it's going to put out a lot of heat. A lot of heat, a lot of smoke. All inside of 2 minutes. So it's very, very important that you respond appropriately in a very quick manner. Okay? So what are we, meaning my office, the school, what are we doing about it? Well, these are some things that we're doing. Well, today's presentation, let's start with that. First and foremost, we're going to try to give you some fire safety education. All right? We also have fire drills. If they're going to happen, both in the dorm as well as various buildings around campus. By law, they have to happen. They have to happen at least 3 times a year and at least 1 time in the nighttime. All right, so you will be a part of one. It's going to happen. Take them seriously. All right, get up, get out as safely as you can. RA programs or floor meetings. You may have some fire safety information provided to you. And Dutchess Safety Day. Okay, this year it's going to be October 3rd. It's actually going to be right outside here between Dutchess and Bound Hall. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff going on here. It's going to be from noontime till 2 p.m. And we're going to have a bunch of demonstrations. We're going to have, for those of you that were here last year, I don't know if you remember the drunk driving blood alcohol goggles. Put the goggles on like you're drunk and you drive the golf cart around. We're also going to have, my office is going to have the smoke trailer. If you want, we can have you evacuate a smoke-filled room. We're also going to have fire extinguishers. You guys can actually put out a live fire. Okay, a lot of different stuff that you guys can learn just in that 2 hours. But this is where the responsibility is on you guys. If you'll listen up, the responsibility on you guys to come out and get that knowledge. It's there for you. It's up to you to go out and obtain it. Okay. Something else we're doing is engineering. We have a modern fire alarm system in the dorms. We also have sprinklers and smoke and fire doors. Don't mess with them. All right, if you see something wrong with them, report it to Res Life, either your RA, your RD, report it to security or something like that so it can get fixed, so it can get taken care of. Because that stuff is there for a reason. Right? It's there to help protect you. Also enforcement. That's where fire inspections come in. Okay, whether you will have RA and RD inspections periodically. They'll stop by, check out your room, not just for cleanliness, but they're also looking for other stuff with regards to fire safety as well. And like I said, state fire inspections, that's me. I will come through and check the dorms and look for various things. Also safety and security. They'll follow up on complaints, policy violations. Everybody should have received a student handbook already. Is that correct? No? Okay, well you will. You will receive one eventually. All right. I highly recommend that you take a couple minutes and at least skim through it because there's going to be some stuff that's going to be extremely important to you in there, guys. And law enforcement. When we have criminal acts on campus, they will call in the local police department. People will be arrested. People will go to jail if it's necessary. I'd like to avoid that. So, behavioral issues. When I go through and do my fire inspection, behavioral issues is really what I find most. All right, we built the building. It's built in accordance with the building code. Everything's great till we add people. Then people start punching holes in walls. They start bringing in extension cords. They start doing different stuff to compromise what that building originally was. So the behavioral issues, that's where you guys can make a difference. You're the occupants of the building now. So what you do can make or break the situation. And it's easy to mistake good luck for good practice. Just because you haven't had a fire where you live yet doesn't mean you're always doing the right thing. I guarantee you if I go inspect my own house right now, I'm probably going to find at least one or two things where I can improve. I'm not going to lie. All right, it's just a matter of fact. And, so we have to constantly be vigilant and keep looking for things that may start a fire so we can take care of it. So, room inspections. Some of the things that we should not see. These are things that I'll be looking to remove. Candles, incense, any other open flame device. Obstructions to smoke detectors and sprinkler heads. Unauthorized appliances. So with that, I should not find that in somebody's room, in somebody's bedroom. All right. Candles and incense. That picture there was actually taken at Conklin Hall last year. Okay. All right, listen up, guys. So that was installed by a student to cover up the smoke detector so they could smoke in their suite. All right, that is a crime. You can go to jail for that. All right. I do not want to find that again this year. All right. So here's some things that I have seen in various dorms in this area on college inspections. Here we have somebody hung a tapestry up. It's blocking the sprinkler head. All right, we have to keep an 18-inch clearance or a 1.5 foot clearance below the sprinklers. All right, so if it does actually activate, water can get out and put that fire out. Here, somebody decided to build a fort. Okay. Definitely not a good idea. All right, now we're looking at the overall number of combustibles. All right, listen up, guys. Come on, listen up. The quicker I get through my presentation, the quicker you guys get to go to a barbecue. All right? So, I wish I was. I'm not coming. No, I wish I was. So, what we have here, guys, is the overall number of combustibles. Now, something that comes up every year is, I want to put stuff on my wall in my room. I want to put posters. I want to put pictures. I want to put, whatever up there. You can only have a specific amount. And a lot of it has to do with the fire code says you can have 10% of your wall space covered if the room is not sprinklered. You can have up to 50% of your wall space covered if the room is sprinklered. So that's how I enforce it. The college may have a different take on that with their own policies, but that I have to go by the fire code. So here we have a whole bunch of flammable or combustible items and no sprinkler in that room. All right, that's definitely an issue. Somebody decided to hang their Guitar Hero guitar up on a sprinkler. That's not what that's for. Or we have putting your hanger on that. How many of you guys have seen in hotels where they actually got the little sticker on the wall that says no hanger up on the sprinkler? A lot of hotels have that now. Let me tell you how a sprinkler operates, okay? The way that a sprinkler operates is inside, in this area here, right in the center, there's what's called a frangible bulb, all right, or it's a link. So either it's a metal link or the majority of them that you'll see, there's like a little red bulb. What that thing does is once there gets enough heat underneath that bulb, that heat will then shatter, will now shatter the bulb, and water will be allowed to come out. All that thing does is hold water back. That's all it's doing. So if we break it, whether through heat or through something like this, now we're going to have a flooding condition. Okay, so if you like to keep your stuff, don't do that. Areas should be free from electrical hazards, a whole bunch of combustible materials. So when we're talking about cleanliness, it's not just because we don't want you living in a pigsty and we don't want bugs, but also if we have stuff just thrown all about the room, if a fire starts, it could spread very rapidly through that room. All right, we got to make sure that your exits aren't blocked. We should be able to swing your door open 90 degrees. And obstruction or chocking fire doors. Down there in the bottom right, down here, basically what happened is they took a fire door and they put stuff in front of it. So when the fire alarm goes off, those doors can't close on their own and keep that fire on the other side of the door. And so smoke and heat can now go through there and kill people on the other side. This is what somebody did. We had a sports team at one of the colleges. They flipped the tires for exercise and stuff like that. They decided to store that in front of the exit. Can't do that. These guys apparently wanted to play mechanic in their dorm. Can't do that. Okay, so no fueled vehicles inside the buildings. All right, specifically anything residential. So, you guys see this right here? What's missing there? There's a ground. Somebody said the ground. Exactly. So what somebody did here is there's a third prong that should be coming out of there. Somebody snapped it off. All right, if that happens, then that appliance is now out of service. We got to get something new. On the other side, we have some portable appliances where the wires became frayed. All right, don't just tape it up. Go and get something new, or if you know an electrician, have them fix it. All right, but don't just try to fix it on your own, and definitely don't continue to use it like that. Here we have a lamp. I believe these aren't even allowed in the dorm, this style lamp. All right, so and the biggest problem with this is we have the heat gets trapped up in the top part of that. Okay, gets trapped up in here. So, but the issue that we had here, aside from the lack of ventilation, was this is a 60-watt lamp, and they put a 100-watt bulb in it. Okay, so it drew a lot more energy than it should have, created a lot more heat, and luckily only melted the cover. It actually didn't injure or kill anybody. That could have been a lot worse. So instead of using extension cords, all right, if you're going, I'm sure you're going to be using power strips for all the stuff that you have. There should be 3 things that you're looking for when you're going to buy a power strip. They may look like any one of these, but they should have, regardless of what it is, there should be 3 features. Number 1, it should have a circuit breaker inside of it. It'll tell you on the package. It'll say circuit breaker power strip or surge protector. All right, that's the first thing you should be looking for. The second thing is a reset button. Just like we see here. Every single one of these has a reset button. And last but not least is there should be some sort of reflective sticker on it that says either UL or ESL. What that does is that tells you that that device has actually been tested to a certain standard in a laboratory here in the States to make sure that it is more fire safe than other things that are out there. So when I go through the inspections and I see something like that, those are 3 things that I look for. And if what you're using does not comply with that, it gets removed. Okay. This is not what I should find. I've got a whole bunch of stuff going on here. I got 2 different extension cords. I got the brown one and the gray one. I got an adapter. That's just waiting for a fire to happen. There's another example. We can't go power strip to power strip. Okay? Right in here, they got 1 power strip. And this here, listen up, guys. Listen up. This thing here, because I see a lot of people have those because they are grounded. All right, and they are UL listed. However, there's no reset in them. All right, so if it blows out, then we definitely have an issue, and it's got to be thrown out. So we can't use those. But regardless of what you have, we can't have those together. They basically took, because when all that goes back to the wall, to the one outlet where it starts, we've taken one outlet and turned it into 12. All right, so with all that electricity coming through those wires, that's going to heat that up and you're going to have a fire in your outlet. These, we cannot use these, multi-plug cube adapters. You'll find them at any dollar store, any Walmart, whatever. They're cheap. They come in handy, but you cannot use them here on campus. All right? They don't have two of the three things that I was talking about before. They don't have a ground, they don't have a circuit breaker, all right? And they don't have a reset button. So we can't use those. Sources of ignition, candles, right? Candles, incense, smoking materials. All right, guys, I smoked for 22 years. I understand the cravings that a smoker has. All right, and especially during the cold winter months where you don't want to trek outside and stuff like that. And here we have a no smoking campus. I understand, that's definitely tough. The policy states that you have to go to the edge of the property line. As a fire inspector, I'm just concerned with you smoking in the building. Everything after that, that's between you and the college. I just don't want to find people smoking in the dorms. All right, that's all that I'm asking. Please respect yourself, respect the other people in the building. Don't smoke in the dorms. All right, regardless of what you choose to smoke. All right, because we did find this too. So some other things that are expected. If you're in a building and the fire alarm goes off due to a fire drill, you are expected to get up and get out. All right. What we found. Whenever you guys are ready, I'll move on when you guys are done talking. I'm sure everybody here wants to go to a barbecue, so whenever you guys are ready. So what we found here last year was that when the fire alarm would go off, we had some people that would just stay in their room. That they'd have a little party, they'd have a couple people hanging out in their room. All right? And the fire department would go through because it's their duty to check. And they'd find people in the room. Technically, at that point, you can be charged with obstructing fire department operations. That can buy you a year in jail. All right? The whole point is because now we have to commit resources to saving you when you could have saved yourself. All because you just didn't want to participate for whatever reason. So please, take it seriously. That's your opportunity to practice how you would get out of the building if we had a real event. So please take it seriously. All right, so now we get to the housing handbook. All right, specifically section 3.6. As you guys can see here, the things I'm about to go through, anybody who's found to be guilty of committing any of these behaviors is going to be subject to disciplinary, which could include loss of housing privileges, expulsion from the college, and or criminal prosecution. We did have 3 people last year that got expelled from the school for tampering with fire alarms. Okay, so first and foremost, we have false reporting. All right, false reporting of fire, bomb threat, serious injury, or any other emergency, or pulling a fire alarm when there is no fire. The only time those should be pulled is when you actually have an emergency incident and you need emergency services. Other than that, do not pull them. Setting a fire, possessing or using flammable or highly combustible materials, also known as arson. Okay? Don't be setting fires in the building. Here we have a sprinkler head, that bulb that I was talking about. Basically what somebody did is they took tape and put it around that bulb to help prevent that bulb from being shattered. So what we've done there, while a fire will burn through that, what it does has now delayed the amount of time it will take for the fire to burn through that, for that bulb to operate as it's supposed to, and we could, with fire doubling in size every 30 seconds, could have a fire big enough to overwhelm that sprinkler head. You got me, I don't know. Actually, no, I do have an answer for that. Something that I did see here last year. A lot of people don't have correct information and they think that smoke will set off a sprinkler head. It will not. A smoke detector is a heat detector. Either damage or heat will set it off. Smoke will not set it off. Another common misconception, thank you to Hollywood and movies and TV shows, is that when the fire alarm goes off, that the sprinkler will go off. That is not the case as well. You will not find that in a residential setting. Okay? However, if the sprinkler head goes off, then the fire alarm goes off. So it works in reverse, but smoke will not set that off. Right? Here we have somebody using a glove to block the smoke detector. Something else I saw. People mess around with fire extinguishers. Right? These things are here for a reason. All right? So tampering with misusing fire safety equipment, including fire extinguishers, sprinklers, smoke, or heat detectors. Exit signs, alarm pole stations, evacuation maps, or floor room signs. So any one of those is definitely an issue. So why would it be an issue if I tamper, say I walk down a hallway and I pull 127 off the door and I switch it with 121? What's the issue with that? What we got?
When either of those rooms have an emergency, now emergency services have to take even more time to get to the right location.
Exactly. She said when there is an emergency in those rooms, now it's going to take longer for emergency services to get to those rooms because they don't know which is which. All right, so basically, we either disorient the occupants of the building as a reference point, or we disorient or delay emergency services. That's why it's an issue. Fireworks. Possessing, using, manufacturing fireworks or explosives. I definitely hope that's not happening in the dorm room. All right. So it's illegal. Now, there are things, people call them legal fireworks. It's not the good stuff. It's sparklers. They actually changed the law. They're considered sparklers. Don't waste your money, all right? I have to inspect those every year, too, and it's nothing good, and nothing that flies up, nothing that goes boom, all right? All that stuff is sold in other states. Regardless, even the legal fireworks, the legal sparklers, they're not allowed on campus. They fall under those combustibles and stuff like that, so we can't have them. Even though you could go to Walmart and buy them, you can't bring them back to the dorm. And this is what I was talking about with getting up and getting out when there's a fire alarm, fail to leave a building at the sound of alarm, when so instructed by residence hall staff or fire department or campus official. Like I said, that is actually a Class A misdemeanor, buy you some time in jail if you don't get up and get out. So how can you guys be a part of the solution? Some of you saw this last year. How can we stop issues with what I call culinary disasters? How can we stop this? Because this was the biggest issue that we saw last year. Read the instructions. What you got, sir? Guys, listen up. I got somebody answering the question over here. What you got, sir? Follow the instructions, all right? Read the instructions. You guys are all in college. I hope you know how to read, all right? Just take a minute and read the instructions. What else you got, sir? Just add water. Imagine that. Some things require you to add water. That kind of falls back to reading the instructions, all right? Now, what about if you didn't put it in the microwave? What if you come out of your dorm room and your roommate or somebody else has put that in the microwave and now left the room? What do you think? Listen up, guys.
If it's in there for 20 minutes and it's still going, I'm calling it honestly, you should not leave the room if you turn on the microwave.
Okay. Well, yeah, you shouldn't leave the room when you turn on the microwave. But to answer the question, really, hit the stop button. Hit the stop button. Shut it off. All right? And if we do actually have a fire that starts inside the microwave, keep the door closed. That appliance has been designed to handle a certain amount of heat. And if nothing else, it's going to keep it contained in there long enough for you to get out of the building and notify somebody. All right? So keep it contained. How can we stop this? Just don't do it, all right? Now, when I brought this up last year, people said, well, allow us to smoke on campus. Guys, that's a bigger issue than me. But this is what I'm concerned about, all right? Like I said, as a former smoker, I understand the cravings and stuff like that. This I take very seriously. This I will come for you. I will find you. I will get you locked up. I'm promising you. Don't challenge me. Don't challenge me. Take my job very, very, very seriously, all right? So, guys, if you come out of your room and you find this, a lot of stuff can be just stopped at the bottom level, at the lower level, excuse me. Instead of notifying security and notifying me and stuff like that, stuff gets complicated once it gets to our level. Let's not do that. Just talk to your suite mate or whatever. Hey, guys, come on. Seriously? Because if it's happening in your suite, even if we don't track it down to the person that did it, everybody in that room will be fined. That's what they did last year. All right, so there is some accountability that falls on everybody in that suite, guys. And we kind of covered this too. Just don't do it in a room, guys. Like I said, once you get out of the building, as far as I'm concerned, that's a whole other issue. I'm concerned about you smoking in the building. Please don't do it. So, and if you see it, report it. All right. First, start. Like I said, just got done saying, start with the person who's caused an issue. A lot of times, problems can just be resolved right there. All right. you don't feel comfortable doing that or you're not successful, you can go talk to your RA or your RD in confidence, all right? You can make an anonymous report, and they don't have to convey to the people involved that it was you. You can advise safety and security, all right? So, and fire safety is more than just a matter of code, guys. It is a matter of conscience. We don't want anybody to get burned. We don't want anybody to die in a fire, especially if it's something that we can prevent. All right? We want to get everybody here safely. We want everybody to graduate. All right. So, let me do a time check here. Let me give a couple seconds from across the way. If anybody has any questions, let me give a couple seconds if anybody has questions over across the way. Does anybody in here have any questions about anything? All right, guys, I got a couple questions real quick, so listen up. Hold on, quiet down for a second, guys. Just a couple more minutes. What do you got, sir? Guys, please be quiet. I have somebody asking a question. Aren't we supposed to check in? Here? Yes, thank you for bringing that up. As you guys saw when you came in, there is actually computers at the back where, Jim Moore, you want them to check out before they leave, is that correct? Okay, so see the people at the computers, check out, that way you get credit for it. Okay? Okay. Okay, so thank you very much for your time, guys. Hold on one second. Okay.
Just sit down. We'll get you out of here. Good Lord. Okay. Thank you for taking the time today to share what is really important. Can we thank our guest presenter today? Okay, so we know that in the past when you guys have had to swipe to get out, it's been kind of a cluster, so we're going to do it very organized. We're going to get it out of here quickly. So we'll just wait for you guys. You let us know when we're ready. Okay. Fantastic. All right, so in talking with Jamoy and DeAndre, the new residence hall coordinator, and some of the RAs, we decided that we're just going to not do the hall meeting tonight so you guys can get through this evening more quickly. So here's how the schedule is going to go. We're going to do the barbecue down in Conklin from 5 to 6:30. You do have to swipe your card because it's the first official meal of your meal plan for the fall semester. If you don't have your ID, we'll work with you. We'll help you. And we know there are a couple of people who don't have IDs. We'll help you there. Don't worry about that. So that'll be 5 to 6:30 in Conklin, right out front, and you can use the atrium. After that, immediately after that, no hall meeting. We're going to go right into first floor meetings. That way we can get you guys done for the night by 7:30. So dinner will be from 5 o'clock as soon as we leave here till 6:30. Be done at 6:30. 6:30, you're going to go to your first floor meeting. So the first floor will be in Dutchess, which is right downstairs, Dutchess 101. Second floor is right in the Ritz Lounge. Third floor is going to be right back here, and the fourth floor is in the atrium. That won't be very long, and then we're not ending at 9:30. So what questions do you have before we start swiping? Say that again. What's the question? Okay, anybody have a question? If you don't have an ID, talk to us at the back. We'll help you get out of here, and we'll also help you get your meal. Sit down, please. Sit down. We did say we would be exiting in an orderly manner. I'm not the brightest person in the room, but if 400 people try to exit at once, you're never getting down to the meal. So our goal is to get you some food. We're going to start in the back, and we're going to go by row, so you can orderly get out of here. Can the last row in each section. 6:30 will be your floor meetings, right after the dinner. I can't hear him. Can you guys hear his question? I still can't hear him. Where's the fourth floor meeting? Got it. The fourth floor meeting is in the atrium right in Conklin. Okay. If you're standing back there, you're not helping. You're not helping. We want to get everybody in the front out of here just as fast as you get to exit, so sit down. DeAndre, you can start walking down and